Hey guys, before we get into another great episode of the Dragoncast, I want to take some time out to mention an amazing charity organization called Scares That Care. They put on a convention every year where all of the proceeds go to raising money for families in need, and they have raised so much money to help so many families that need it the most. If you're interested in possibly volunteering for this convention or even checking out their virtual convention in August, you can go to scaresthatcare.org. That's scaresthatcare.org. And now let's get right into another great episode of the Dragoncast. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Dragoncast. My name is Brian Daniels. I'm back once again with my podcasting partner in crime, Victor Salazar. Victor, how you doing today, man? How you been?
Hey, what's going on, Brian, man? It's been pretty good, man. It's been a pretty slow week on my end, but I don't know, man. I think you've had yourself quite a week, man. You want to talk about some of that stuff?
Man, oh man, I absolutely do. We're gonna get into how my week went. That's it's been a very hectic week here. But I do want to, before we get into
tell me about it.
The topic conversation here, I want to welcome everybody to our 32nd episode of the Dragoncast. It's kind of insane that we've already reached that point. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of this discussion, I do want to mention our sponsor, Monthly Tea Club. Thank you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Us for being our sponsor. You guys rock. And by the way, Victor, I want to let you know that we now have a special discount code for people who want to sign up for Monthly Tea Club for the first time, right? So,
oh, I love it because nobody wants to pay full price.
No, nobody wants to pay full price for something. So for those of you out there who have not signed up for Monthly Tea Club yet, you guys can go to monthlyteaclub.com and enter discount code Dragoncast. That's right, Dragoncast, and you will get your first month of the subscription for only $5. That's it, $5. $5 for a T-shirt mailed to your house, free shipping. That's all there is to it. That's it. That easy. And
dude, $5 is great. That's amazing.
And what's great about Monthly Tea Club, guys, is you can go to their website, you give them all your information, and then you fill out a little questionnaire about all the things you're into, all the nerdy stuff you're into, what kind of shows are you into, what kind of comics are you into video games, things like that. And basically what they end up doing is taking all that glorious information that you give them that makes up the things you like, and they send you a shirt randomly based off of what you tell them, which is pretty damn cool, in my opinion. And all that for $5. So go to Monthly Tea Club, sign up right now. I literally don't make anything for doing it. We don't get any. We don't make a profit off of it. So there's that. And but what's good about it is you can get a shirt for $5. And you know what, Victor? I love T-shirts, and I will gladly take a shirt for $5. So there's
yeah,
that.
definitely. Especially, you know what? I think the best part of it is as customization. You let them know what you like, and they'll go ahead and send you something within that genre. And it's a surprise, and it's pretty cool, man. I like surprises. It's like a little gift,
Yeah, and you're not obligated.
$5, you can't. $5, come on.
No, and you're not obligated, by the way, to maintain a membership with them after your first month, but it does revert to the normal subscription price of $14.99 if you decide to stay past your first box. And you can even do your own unboxing video like the unboxing videos that I do on Dragon Blogger. You can go to our Dragon Blogger YouTube channel right now and see my latest Monthly Tea Club unboxing. So if you're curious as to what T-shirt I got for the month of July, you can go to YouTube right now and check out the July Monthly Tea Club unboxing. I will be doing an unboxing as long as they keep sending me shirts. You're going to see what they are. So anyway, and that's a word from our sponsors, Victor. All right, so let's get right
in right now. Let me look for this video.
Yeah. So let's get
check it out right now.
Yeah, you do that. So let's let's get right into this this discussion, if you will. So today we are going to be discussing the Days of the Dead horror convention. And for those who don't know or are unfamiliar with Days of the Dead, I would have to say, is currently the #2 horror convention in the United States. They are right behind Horror Hound. And Days of the Dead has been around since 2011 and was started right here in Indiana, Victor, in Indianapolis. Where I'm from.
Yeah, that's right. And
yeah.
Yeah, and I think they moved around a couple of times too. I think I've heard of them being in the LA area. I think I've heard of them being in Las Vegas as well. So it's definitely one of the conventions that will have, some big name cities hosting the convention.
Yeah, they actually started in 2011. It was formed by 3 guys. You got Rick Lara, Adolfo Dorta, and of course Bill Philpott. And they the 3 of them came together and they created this con. And it started right off in the Midwest, and has taken off from there. It has had amazing success. And they did. You're absolutely right. They branched off to other cities. I know they were in L.A. They have had a show in Las Vegas. They've been to Louisville, right across the river from where I'm at, and I think even Chicago as well. Yeah, Chicago and Atlanta. I know they did a show in Atlanta. So they've definitely been in quite a few prominent American cities. So I will say that. Starting in 2018, Adolfo and Rick decided to part ways with the company. They felt that there was some differences of how the show was being ran and the direction that it took off into, and that pretty much left.
Well, before we continue, Brian.
Yes.
Adolfo and Rick, who are they?
I never did find out exactly how they came to know each other. I know they've been longtime friends. I do believe all 3 of them were longtime friends. And I know that there was, I know from what I was told that Adolfo had started, they had done their own news site for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like their own horror genre type news website. And they kind of decided at one point, we should probably do something like a get-together for people. And that's kind of how Days of the Dead came to be. And
so they're like the founders, huh?
They are the founders. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, all 3 of them are. So yeah.
Gotcha.
But they've been very successful. And Rick and Adolfo decided to leave in 2018. They decided to part ways with the company over some differences of opinion. And that's that. But as much as I would like to say that that's the end of the story, Victor, that's not the end of the story. Days of the Dead had a convention in Indianapolis this past weekend, and Victor, you and I have been talking for about quite a couple months now that our thoughts on having an actual convention during this pandemic, and after we did the virtual PopCon, I looked into. Somebody had told me, I forget who it was, that Days of the Dead was still doing a convention, and
that's crazy.
And I looked into it, and I was like, man, that's so weird. Like you're really gonna do an in-person con and risk the health of people as well as celebrities? These are people that this is their career, And so I looked into it, and I joined the Indianapolis Facebook group for Days of the Dead. And I wanted to look into it. I've covered this convention before. I did an amazing write-up of them back in 2018. It was actually my very first horror convention I had been to or ever covered and did a review of. I had a fun time. I had a amazing time. If you guys want to check that article out, it's at Dragon Blog. You can go search for it. You can go search it up. They put on a hell of a show that year. I absolutely loved it. And I thought it was really interesting that they were going to try to be the only convention in Indy to put a show on because Horror Hound had canceled. They were supposed to do a show this year in Indy, but they decided to, in my strong opinion, do the smart thing and not have a con like all these other cons decided to do. But they decided to do it. So I joined their Indianapolis group, and I wanted to take a peek and see what was going on. You know, surely people had talked about this. I wanted to see if they had any cancellations because one could assume, right, that, you know, not everybody's going to go to this convention. So I seen that Richard Dreyfuss had canceled. You know, Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws, a lot of different movies, a great actor. He canceled, and rightfully so. They had a lot of other people cancel. I know Tony Todd, the guy who plays Candyman in the Candyman movie, he canceled. But I did notice a trend that there were some cancellations, Victor, that had never really been addressed by the convention, which was really odd. Like for instance, Skeet Ulrich, who is from the movie Scream, he canceled, but nobody found out about it until the Friday of the convention. Like literally, people had been paying money for photo ops with him, and they never mentioned it that he canceled. And what's really funny, it's not funny, but it's odd, is that if you go to the Days of the Dead Indianapolis page, at least I went to it last night, they still show Skeet on there as a guest. Like his picture is still up there, as if he attended this con. So I started noticing these shady things, and so I finally decided to say something. I responded to a lady's post about, you know, coronavirus and having a con in the middle of a pandemic, and I was showing my concerns because I mentioned that I was a member of the media, and I thought that it was very odd that they would want to kind of give themselves that kind of press and that kind of attention. And Victor, they silenced me. They actually started hiding my comments, and then it got to the point where they actually blocked me from commenting. Not blocked me like period where I couldn't see the group, but they blocked me from commenting, and then they actually ended up blocking. They did actually end up blocking me from the group itself. So that's
just insane.
That's my initial, my real initial, what happened. That's how this whole thing kind of started for me. That's how how it came to pass for me. And then of course, it kind of, there was another incident, Victor, that, you know, you want to talk about that, the other thing that happened, the big thing that happened during the weekend?
You know what? I'm still kind of like in disbelief with this whole thing. Like I'm looking at this, I'm reading the article. You know, I still have some thoughts on this. Hold on. You know what? I saw the picture.
Yeah.
And you messaged me about this picture.
Yeah.
And my initial reaction to you was a big WTF.
Yeah, it was.
Right? And
yeah,
I was like, what the hell
yeah.
is going on? I was like, what the hell is going on? This is not right. And for those of you that may have missed it, because my understanding was the picture was removed.
Yeah, it was. It was taken down.
It was a very, very distasteful photo of a teddy bear with a T-shirt of Robin Williams on it, and or no, I'm sorry, it was a teddy bear with like a Robin Williams head, correct?
No, yeah, it was a teddy bear that was created by a vendor, an artist, and it has the face of Robin Williams on it. It's a face of him.
and I don't even want to look at it. You know, I caught a glimpse of it. I caught it once, and I didn't even want to look at it no more. So I can't recall it, you know, perfect. But the shirt did have like a hangman type figure on it, and it said "hang in there."
Yes.
You know, and that shit was not cool. That really upset me.
Yeah.
You know, that pissed me off quite a bit, actually.
Certainly.
And you know, and I was like, dude, come on. Like, I know we kind of ranted about it for a quick minute.
Yeah.
And from there, it was just like, Like, I can't believe that Days of the Dead would allow something like this. I mean, I understand that you're a horror convention, but shit's got to be tasteful.
Oh,
It's got to be
absolutely.
tasteful. You can't have something that's going to, you know, this is just, even now, I'm lost for words.
Mm-hmm.
Robin Williams, one of the most amazing people on this earth, you know,
Mm-hmm.
made millions of people laugh with this comedy. And obviously he had some darkness that he had to deal with in his time
Mm-hmm.
that we're not sure exactly, you know, what went on in his head. But
Mm-hmm.
you
Sure.
don't make fun of that. You don't make light of that. You and I, we have discussed, you know, the mental illness of depression. We've discussed other mental illnesses and how we're not cool with that being made light of.
Yeah.
And for this to pop out, you know, and then to have the dude, I don't even know who the hell the guy in the picture was, but the dude smiling, he's over here having like a good time. Like, dude, come on. That was not cool. That was crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you poked at him. I know you dug into it. Would you uncover, Brian?
Well, yeah, oh boy. I'll tell you what. You know, I'll make a kind of a parallel thing here in that I got more than I bargained for. And the rabbit hole is so deep that I didn't expect. I thought I was gonna come out on the other side of the planet. You know, that's how deep the rabbit hole was. And so I found out that the guy in the photo, his name is Scott Majetsky. He is not the one that posted the photo. He is the one that took the photo. So there's two people involved here. There's two people involved here, okay? I want to make this very clear so nobody misinterprets it, because that's what people do. There is two people here. There's a guy named, and this is all public information. People can go find this. This isn't something that you have to, you know, this isn't something you have to go dig for. It's there. And then there is another guy named Chris Blair, and he is the guy who took the photo. Both of which are members of they're staff members of this convention. And what happened was, apparently Chris was the one, not apparently, Chris is the one that posted the photo to Days of the Dead. He did make a rather, in my opinion, insincere apology using the Days of the Dead's Facebook account, claiming that the photo was not meant to be posted on the Days of the Dead indie page, but instead it was meant to be posted on his own personal page, which I'm going to take a minute and say this. I find that to be very hard to believe, in my opinion, because as someone who has their own Facebook page for my professional thing that where I post articles and stuff, you have to really go out of your way to accidentally post a photo, because when I go and I make posts, because I post my articles on my professional page and then I share them from my professional page to my personal page, and there is no I just don't think I've went through the steps before, and I've done this hundreds of times. I find it very hard to say that you accidentally did it when it's a very direct. I mean, it's a thing you have to be trying to do. There is no oh, my bad, I forgot, or whatever, because it's a very thing that you have to take certain steps to get to. It's not like you accidentally did it. I just don't see how, then again, I'm not the one that posted it, so I don't know for certain, but I will say that I find it very hard to believe that it was an accident. It seemed like it was it's meant
a conscious
to be posted.
effort, yeah.
And so,
like you said, Brian, when you're trying to post to your page, you always start off on your personal page, and from there you have to consciously click on my pages and then scroll down to the page you want to post to. So there is I accidentally posted it with the touch of a button. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You still have to click your page and then you type it up there,
Yeah.
So it's something that was very deliberate.
Yeah. So I did reach out for a comment from Chris and from Scott. And they both basically meant to tell me, said that that they did, like Chris said that his apology was his statement, and that he didn't really want to get into it any more than that. And then Scott gave a very lengthy comment. I didn't use his comment in the article. I didn't in the full article, because I didn't feel like I needed to really go into that topic anymore, because at that point I had done an article earlier in the week, I believe Monday or Tuesday, and it already got the point. I talked about the bear incident in a separate article. I did mention it a little bit in the full page article, if you will. But Scott did give me a comment. I mean, he basically told me that he did tell me I could use his comment, by the way. So he told me that he essentially his wife and talked about mental illness and things like that, and so they don't. Not to say that his wife has a mental illness. I'm not saying that, but it's something close to them, and that they would never post something like that with a bad intention. It was meant to stay within their friends circle, basically. So I don't know. I mean,
Gotcha.
but regardless,
Gotcha.
I'll just say this: as far as that photo is concerned, yes, was the photo done in poor taste? Absolutely. Is the context in that photo in poor taste? 100%. I don't care who you are. Making fun of suicide is never an okay thing to do. I don't care if it's within your look. I have a sick sense of humor sometimes, okay? But let me be very clear. I don't make fun of suicide. And people, and there was all these comments posted by people. I'm not gonna name names, but there was a lot of people who, after I wrote that first article about the teddy bear incident, they were like, "But this is horror. We're a horror community. We laugh at all. We laugh at all kinds of bad stuff. Yeah, in a fictional setting, we make fun of
in a fictional way. Yeah,
like this isn't Jason or Michael Myers or the Leprechaun or Pinhead or Chucky. That we're talking about. We're talking about Robin Williams, a very real person who faced a very real tragedy, who has a daughter and a son who lost their father. This is not a fictional thing we're making fun of. This is a very real thing that happened to a very beloved and respected person in all the way around. So yes, I will always always call out that kind of stuff, man. That's just bad. I don't care if they ain't meant to do that or not. And what makes me what made me the most mad about it was the fact that in the apology that was given by Chris, he didn't even apologize for what was depicted in the photo. He didn't say, "I'm sorry for making fun of suicide. I'm sorry that I took a beloved character, like a beloved, not even a character, a beloved person like Robin Williams, and depicted him in his suicide in a good light or in a joking manner." He didn't even apologize for that, Victor. I get apologizing. Fine. We'll say you apologize for the photo. Fine, that's fine. But you didn't apologize for the context of the photo. That to me means more to me than even posting the photo on accident. So
that's right. And you know what? And I'm gonna put it in this. I'm gonna shed this kind of light on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's pretend. Mm-hmm. This is why I have the biggest issue. That's why we both have a huge issue with this. Let's pretend. Yeah. Let's pretend that was not Robin Williams. Let's pretend it was Bart Simpson. Mm-hmm. It was Bart Simpson hanging on there, and it was his head, and it was his T-shirt, and it was the same thing, just Bart Simpson. Yeah. People would probably laugh. People would have a good time. People would probably look at it and say, "Oh, that's a pretty cool shirt."
Sure.
Bart Simpson, animated character, not real. The dude goes through all kinds of crap during his show, and we laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Robin Williams is not an animated character. He, not in that sense. I mean, he was very animated, had a very, robust personality, but he is
don't get it twisted.
That dealt with some stuff.
Yeah, Robin Williams was very animated. Yeah, he really was. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not in the 2D sense. But you know what? Unless you're talking about Genie. But never mind. But anyways, a real life situation compared to a fictional situation is, just heads and tails, completely different issue. You don't hear horror fans. I'm a horror fan myself, but you don't hear horror fans going, oh man, there was this mass murder in San Francisco, and this guy, oh, that guy's hilarious. Well, that's interesting. Let me go ahead and follow him, or let me make light of what's going on. There's this dude killing people left and right in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Crystal Lake in California, whatever. Some dude's killing people, right? And they're not making fun of that because that's a real life situation.
Sure.
Yeah, you transfer it over to Jason. You transfer it over to, you know, a Halloween, Michael Myers, or your Friday the 13th, whatever you want to do. You switch that situation into a fictional story, and now it's fair game. You can make fun of it all you want. Oh, that shit was campy. That shit wasn't real. That shit was fake. Whatever. You can say whatever you want.
Absolutely.
But at that point in time, it opens the door to have a dark humor over a fictional story.
Yeah.
When it starts coming to real life situations, man, that stuff is not just dark anymore. That's now morbid. You know, it's like, dude, what's wrong with you, man? That's not funny. And this is where this lands right now.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is like, you know, I had people telling me after that first article came up, and it blew up pretty big. They were saying, well, you know, we sell T-shirts of Gacy, and we sell shirts about all these, you know, like the Zodiac Killer and stuff like that. I'm like, well, yeah, because people find those things interesting. We're not glorifying the fact that they killed people. You know, it's a different thing. It's a whole other thing. We're not glorifying that there was very real people that died. And honestly, you know, take the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface. People, I'm sure, I don't know if you realize this, but that's a very loosely based movie on something that actually happened, but it's not depicting the actual people. You know what I mean? Like it's just so ridiculous. Like, and you know, and I'm tired. And one thing I've heard a lot of is gatekeeping. You know, for those who are listening who don't know what gatekeeping is, it's when people say that you can't be a fan of something unless you fulfill a certain requirement, right? There's a lot of communities that I try to stay away from. One instance, Victor, is the Star Wars community. I'm not saying the Star Wars community is necessarily totally bad, but there is a lot of gatekeeping within Star Wars. You know, I talked to my wife about this the other day. You know, I know you like Star Wars, Victor. I know you've watched the movies. You know the whole part where in the first Star Wars film where Han shoots Greedo, and you know that big long debate about who shot first. There is literally people in the Star Wars community that will tell you you're not a true fan of the Star Wars community if you don't believe Han shot first. And I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding, but there are grown adults who will tell you that you cannot be a fan of Star Wars if you don't believe Han shot first. I kid you not. And so I'm seeing this same level of pettiness in the horror community as well. I mean, I'm not saying that. Look, let's face it. All communities, the video game community, Trekkies. There's no community that's exempt from that sort of behavior, right? I'm a fan of many different. I'm a fan of many different pop culture things, and it happens. There's always, you know, they always say there's always that one person, right? And there always is, and that's just how it is. There's going to be some level of toxicity in a fandom, especially a big fandom, right? So here is another instance, unfortunately, of that happening. Now, let's talk a little bit about conventions. Now, when people talk about – now, see, I didn't know what I had never been to a horror convention. I had been to conventions probably since as early as the first Gen Con in Indy back in 2003. So I've been going to conventions for a little bit of a time. And I knew of horror conventions, but I mostly associated horror conventions as with the horror movie industry. Boy, was I wrong. Because when I went to Days of the Dead back in 2018, my very first horror convention, I was like, wow, you know, like this is a genre con, not necessarily a horror movie convention, because I thought that's what that was. I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to see some people cosplay as Freddy. I'm going to see some people cosplaying as Michael Myers, you know, Jason here and there. You know, I can't wait to be amongst all these horror movie fans. But no. It's not just horror movies. We're talking like TV shows. We're talking like books, you know, horror books. There's a lot of people who love horror books. We're talking like true crime stuff like that too is considered in the horror industry. My wife loves that true crime stuff, by the way. She eats that up. You know, we're talking like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interested in serial killers and that sort of thing, and learning about them and all kinds of stuff, you know. And so I mean, I didn't really know much about that, right? I mean, when you talk about a pop culture convention, you kind of get the idea that that's going to be about everything. So I loved Days of the Dead. I went in 2018. I had a hell of a good time. I would never retract what I wrote about them in 2018. However, the problem here, Victor, and I've found this to be a very matter-of-fact thing, is that a lot of people get this idea that we're only supposed to present businesses or fun things in a good light, and we're never supposed to discuss the bad things. It's as if we're supposed to just pretend like the bad things don't exist. And so when I did this when I did this whole thing and blew this whole thing open about the Robin Williams photo, right? We're gonna move on from that because I'm not a fan of talking about that and giving that any more attention than it deserves, because it doesn't deserve any more attention from anyone else.
Their needs, yeah.
Is that I said the rabbit hole got bigger, right? So after that, as I was talking about that and I put that article out there, I started having my phone getting blown up with people. I had people coming to me to tell me about other issues they had with Days of the Dead. They would tell me things like, oh, if you think that the teddy bear photo was bad, let me share with you my story. I didn't ask for this, by the way. I didn't make a statement saying, hey, if anybody else knows anything bad about Days of the Dead, come to me, because I'm looking to make this con look bad. That was never my intention. And I want to make that very clear, because I know there are going to be people that are going to listen to this episode. There's going to be people that have attacked me since I put these articles out, or who have tried to judge my own personal integrity or whatever about me being a journalist. And that's fine. You are more entitled to criticize me with that. Mm-hmm. But let me make one thing clear. My intention with what I did this week was not to go and be like this grim reaper of conventions and be this dark presence that's just trying to purposely try to find a way to destroy a con. That is not me. People that are the closest to me know that that's not my intention. When I give a review of, I've done reviews of a ton of things, Victor. You know this. I mean, I'm talking video games, I'm talking products. You and I, done that kind of stuff before, and conventions. I've done comedy clubs. I even did a bar. Okay, so I mean, I've done a slew of different things. Have I given all of those things good reviews? No, because I'm a firm believer in that you don't just talk about the good things. You have to also let people know about the bad things and bring both sides to light, so people can give their own opinion of of a business or a brand, and etc. So, and honestly,
that's right. And let's make it clear. Let's make it clear, Brian. Let's make it real clear. That when we say negative things about things, we're not doing it to destroy. We're doing it to improve. We're hoping that you take that criticism in, or not you take that in, and you say, all right, this part of my product, my whatever, was not the best it could be. This person had an opinion on it. All right, let's improve upon it. This is why I appreciate what Carl does and, KJ over at PopCon.
Yeah.
Take that criticism and say, all right, we had some issues, guys. Let's see how we can make it better. That's what we should have gotten from the people over here at Dark, but that's not what they did at all. They took a very negative stance to any criticism that they received. And that shit hit the fan real quick.
And we haven't even got to what's in the article yet, but I will say this. How a business responds is very telling of them.
Speaks volumes.
It speaks volumes, like you just said. And to be completely fair, I knew as I was writing this article that this is exactly how this business would respond. I am not surprised, because all of my sources shared a common thread, that a trend that I was going to get attacked by them. And that's part of the reason why, Victor, a lot of people didn't come forward with, didn't want their name out there, because they were afraid, quite literally afraid, of having this guy and this business and his staff come after their business. So, and you know what? Look, dude, I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't get paid to do this shit. You want to know how much I make for doing this stuff? I make zero. I don't have people pay me. I don't get paid. I don't do this for money. And even if I was doing it and getting paid, it's not even about the money to me. It has never been about the money. It is about doing what's right and taking a stand against any business, and not just Days of the Dead. I don't want Days of the Dead to feel like they're just getting put out here. Any business. I don't care if it's PopCon that did this. I love you, Carl, but if you guys did this, you would get the same criticism. I don't care if it's Gen Con. I don't care if it's San Diego Comic Con. I don't care who you are, how big or small your business is. If you are doing these horrible things and I know about it, I'm going to take a stand against it, because that's what a good journalist does. That's what a good person does. And you know what? And you know what? Yeah. Here's the problem with the problem I have with Days of the Dead is the aftermath of this whole thing. Because instead of them taking accountability for their actions and being held responsible, they would rather attack the media. They would rather attack the journalists that put them out there. And that just, to me, I don't even need to defend myself at that point. They're doing it to themselves. They are digging themselves an even deeper hole by threatening the media. And look, I know my reputation's on the line here. I know my career's at stake here. And I had all these people come to me, Victor, and tell me that my career could be on the line. And you know what? I told them, I said, fine, so be it. If I need to go be the human shield for these people, I totally will. And I will take those attacks, because that's just what any good person would do. And I find it to be quite sad, Victor, that there are people out there who now know this information, who this information is out there for people to see, who know that there are people who got made fun of for their childhood trauma and their abuse and what they went through as a kid by staff members at this con. And yet, instead of taking that energy and taking a stand with me, they would rather take a stand against me. Me, the guy, they say don't kill the messenger. I'm just the messenger. I didn't make up this stuff. I didn't make up what was said.
I didn't do this shit, yeah.
Like I didn't just wake up one day and said, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking destroy Days of the Dead. Right? I'm just going to, I'm just going to go out of my way because that's what I do. And I'm going to go write over 2,300 word article, which happens to be the longest article I've written in my entire life. Right? I don't even recall doing research papers in college that long. Okay. And I'm because I'm bored and I have nothing else better to do because of this pandemic. So I'm gonna get up early one morning and I'm just gonna go get pissed off at whatever con I see fit, and that's my life. No, I'm not gonna do that. But that's how it's kind of being presented at me, as if no one's actually flat out said what I'm saying isn't true. There has been people who speculate that it is or not. But look, you can speculate all you want. I know what was said to me. I have all of it documented, and I will always keep it, because anybody who dares to try to challenge me can just do whatever they want to do. But I know what was happened. I know what happened here. I read it. There's a lot of things I didn't go over because it kind of all meshed together. But as far as the article goes, I had so many people reach out to me, man. I had people coming from all different corners. I had attendees. Now they're former attendees because they don't want to go to this con now after the teddy bear incident. I had former staff. I had a lot of vendors. It was mostly vendors. A lot of vendors were pissed off, and I you know what? I don't blame them. The one guy.
Man, why do you want to be associated with someone like this?
Like the one guy I mentioned in the article, Mike. Mike was great. He let me use his name. He said, "You do whatever you got to do." And Mike, if you're listening, thank you once again for letting me use your name. I'll talk about that. So there was a show that happened back in March. It was the Las Vegas Days of the Dead, and that was back when the COVID was kind of relatively new, and we started to do all these precautions and stuff. And Mike tells me that he's a vendor, and he was under the impression that he was going to go, and he's from California, so he has to travel to Vegas. That ain't cheap. He's got to get a hotel, all this stuff, or whatever, and he's already paying a booth fee. And I've seen these booth fees, and they're like $400 and up. They're not cheap at Days of the Dead. So he's expecting to go. Well, he doesn't now know if the con's going to happen because he said that on Tuesday he was trying to send emails out to the con to figure out if they were canceling or not, and he didn't know it until he saw it on Facebook. They didn't email anybody, Victor. They didn't email a single vendor, from what he told me, that they were going to cancel the show and postpone it until later on in the year. And that upset him a great deal, and it would upset me too. And the thing is that he tried to get a refund for his vendor fee. And did the convention refund him? No. He had to go and, according to him anyway, I'll say according to his statement, that he said that he had to do a chargeback, and he had to wait 2 months to get his money back. Now, I will say that when I confronted the person responsible for doing the refunds, I won't mention who that person is, but they told me, I said, would you care to make a statement about the Las Vegas show? Because apparently there was this big thread. I won't go into all the details here, but there was a person that said that they also didn't receive their money from a show that happened in another state, and the person that's responsible for doing the refunds said that they got a refund, and so they did take a photo and show that they refunded them, and the person said thank you. So when I went to confront them and say, so would you care to talk about the Vegas show? They said, nope, I don't want to say anything about it. Have a great day. And I'm thinking, oh, really? How convenient that you don't want to talk about the Vegas show. So Mike came out, told me all about it. It's there in the article. You know, he talks about how he was done wrong by the company. There's another gentleman that's mentioned in there that I took a screenshot of what he had, him going off on them. And and he, he makes mention of his dissatisfaction with Days of the Dead. There was another vendor I spoke with that was anonymous, and they basically said that they, were treated poorly. There was some sexism going on there as well. That they were that the show owner and showrunner Bill Philpott basically referred to them as the woman, and would never really talk with them about their booth. They would always go to the male at the booth, and I hate that shit. I can't stand that whole not treating people as equals stuff. I've seen it happen at businesses before, and by the way, I'll go off on a little side note here. Women get treated terribly at cons anyway, from what I've seen. Not all conventions, but it's there. With cosplay is not consent and things like that. Women getting groped.
It's been an issue for some time. Yeah,
it has been an issue for a very long time at cons with the way women get treated by people, even whether it be attendees or whether it be convention staff. But there was some sexism going on. This person told me about. And they let me know that they felt very uncomfortable around this man, and that they did not like the way they were excluded from conversations about their booth. And it's disgusting, man. It's just disgusting all around, the way people have been treated by people at this con.
Yeah, I mean it's insane, because the article is a pretty lengthy article, and you do have some comments from people on here, and I just went through over Mike's comments as well. But I'm pretty sure Mike wasn't the only one that had stories. Was there anything in particular you had on here that didn't make it into the article because just too much?
Yeah. I mean, when you have that many people come to you with information, you have to, as a journalist and as a writer, you have to make a very important decision about what should be mentioned and what should not be mentioned. And I want to make something very clear for those of you that are listening that did not have things told in this. Please understand, it's a lot. I still have people, Victor. I actually have people now still coming to me about stuff after this article came out. Matter of fact, when it came out yesterday, I think I had 4 more people message me to tell me stuff, and I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do, right? What do I do with this information? So, depending on, and I will say, I'll say it here, that, if we have more people, I might do a follow-up. I encourage those of you that are listening to this. I'm not saying you need to, but let me encourage those of you that are anonymous or haven't came forward, come forward. These are just people. Like, I mean, they need to be brought out to the light. Like, you know, they need to be called out for their bad business practices and the way they treat humans. Because I can't support a convention that does that to people. I don't care what con it is. I don't care what business it is, really.
It's not gonna happen.
And but there
And that's what's so surprising about something like this, man.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
Okay,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's just so upsetting.
You're good.
I mean, this convention, you know, goes on from Vegas to Los Angeles to Atlanta to wherever. So it's a big thing. This is the day that has a following.
Yeah.
And then for them to treat people like shit, man, it's just it's upsetting, man. And it's so upsetting because, you know, it's like you said, vendors and fans alike, they go out of their way to spend their hard-earned cash at your convention to either be seen or to, you know, meet their favorite, you know, not favorite, but to meet other horror aficionados, want to hang out, have a good time. And then behind the scenes, you got all this negativity going on.
Yeah.
I hate that shit, man.
Yeah.
I hate the segregation. I hate the sexism. I hate the homophobic slurs. That's not cool, man. Yeah. And it really riles me up. And I've been told I have a very colorful language, which I keep in check when I'm on this show. But I mean, it's
me too.
It so wants to come out because I'm like, I can't believe these people. What are that's why I told you. WTF was my response to you when I first saw
it.
Let
me take what you just said and amplify it by 10, if I may. You said it very well. You said I have to keep myself in check, dude. Let me tell you something right now, and for those listening. I have never been more challenged in my life to not interject my own personal opinion into this article more than I ever have in my life. Like you just said, you have a very colorful language. I have too. I have one too, okay? I could make my own coloring book with how colorful my language is, all right?
Yeah, right?
And when you're making a piece like and you're writing a piece like this, do you realize how tough it is to not let your how you truly feel about it come out?
Your personal,
but that's the beautiful part about what I wrote because, you know, I tend to be a very humble person. I don't like to go around saying, "Yeah, look what I wrote. Look at me. Woohoo! Look at my shit I put out there." But then again, this is not about me. This article is not about me at all. And I've had people come after me saying that I'm trying to use these people for my own personal gain. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like that's not me. I don't do that. I mean, how many times, Victor, have we had people come on our shows, and not just this podcast? Because for those who don't know, Victor and I did a little video game podcast a long time ago called Get a Life, and we had how many independent indie game developers come on our show that we let them use our platform to talk about their shit? I don't do that.
That is absolutely right.
I am the kind of person who likes to pull people up with me, not step on them to gain something. That's not me. That's not what I do. And I take great pride in not being that kind of a person. So my problem is the hardest part was trying to make sure that I did not make this about myself and not interject my own criticism of things because I really, and I told all my sources this. I said, look, I want this to be about you because this is about you. So please share with me what you're comfortable with, and please let me know what you're comfortable with me sharing to people, right? Because I'll be honest, I've never done this type of journalism before. I've never done this type of journalism before. I've never done investigative stuff, and I love it. I found out how much I do like it, and I also found out how quickly exhausting it can be too. It's very exhausting. I mean, dude, this week alone, I tell you what, I've never done this kind of stuff before. And it literally would take up my whole entire day and night. I mean, I'd be sitting down, I'd be trying to, enjoy some time on the TV or play a game. And I'm not saying that people interrupted me. They didn't. But it was my whole days and nights. You can ask my wife. I'd wake up with all kinds of notifications. And day and night, I would be on my phone getting these stories and engaging these people. And I don't feel bad about it one bit. I don't regret it one bit. And the thing is, I will let people know, by the way, there's something that a lot of people don't know. Before I shared this article on my social medias and the Dragon Blogger social medias and everywhere else, I actually sent this article to all of my sources first. I gave it to them. I said, here, I want you to read this first before I publish, before it goes, live. And guess what? Every single one of them liked it. All of them did. And I even made to make sure to let people know, like, if something's wrong, let me know. Please tell me. There was one, the individual that shared with me their story about their childhood trauma that they got made fun of. That really hit me because I had mentioned this before, and I think it ended up getting cut out because of the audio. But look, I was abused when I was younger. I had a relative that did that to me. I didn't get sexually abused. I got physically abused, and it sucks, and it scars you for life, right?
Yeah.
And I get the whole being afraid of talking about it, and I was very transparent with this person. I said, hey, look, I get it. I may not have been sexually abused like you do, which that's a whole nother level of fucked up, right? But
yeah, it's a different, yeah.
But the thing is that I get it. It's hard to do. It is never easy to do that. And by the way, if someone is listening today, please hear what I have to say, because if you are experiencing, I don't care where it's at. If you are experiencing like people making fun of you or any sort of trauma and you're afraid, you please talk to somebody. These things have to be brought to light. Otherwise, nothing gets done. We have, there's people have been talking to me lately about cancel culture. Oh, cancel culture. You're just trying to cancel. Yeah, I am trying to cancel. I'm trying to cancel bad people from being a part of these businesses. I'm trying to cancel the fact that people don't take responsibility for their actions. I'm not trying to cancel a con. I don't want Days of the Dead to be canceled. I want the people to be held responsible for their actions. That's what I'm trying to cancel, is the bad things that happen in this. So you're damn right I'm trying to cancel something. I want people to be to realize that you can't have a business and do what you do. This person, in the article, they shared with me that they got made fun of by staff members. They entrusted. I couldn't, when I was very forthcoming about my depression 4 years ago, I had people come to me and tell me, oh, you need to just man up. You need to just man up. Just man up. You're having a bad day. Just get over it, right? Just get over yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, look, I'm not just having a bad day. I'm having a very real mental illness. That's actually real. You might not be able to see it, but it's there, right? I feel it. I feel it every day.
A lot of people are just not educated enough to know, They don't know you can't just turn it on and off just because, it doesn't work that way. And just to touch point on what you said, man, I know it's hard to speak about things like this. It's really, really hard. If you can't speak to us about it, speak to a friend, speak to somebody. Because you know what? Yeah. It heals. It heals. It will never go away, but it does heal just by speaking with somebody. And I know that it's hard, really, really hard to discuss things like that nature. But it'll help you. It'll help you.
And this person, they even they were afraid. Legitimately, there was legitimate fear from several people about this business, and that's bad.
Yeah, I can see, I can see that.
And let's
put it this way, man. This person here opened up to Days of the Dead about what happened, and they ridiculed. That shit's damaging, man.
This person. I couldn't imagine you're working for a convention. I've always been under the impression that a convention was like a family. That's how I feel about PopCon. PopCon is like family to me. And I even give my family a little bit of, criticism, right? You got to be real with your family about stuff, right? Family, you got to be real with them. You got to keep it real with your family.
Listen to last week's episode.
Yeah, listen to last week's episode. And and by the way, with as much criticism that I gave them last week, have a single one of them, Victor, came to me and told me and attacked me for that? No. No, because that is what a good business does. A good, reputable business doesn't go after someone, whether it's the media, whether it's a person, whether it's a fan, or even a celebrity. You don't attack them. And this is not my first rodeo with PopCon. I gave them a similar review last year, and dude, I had them praise me for it, right? And like I said, I don't like to pat myself on the back. I'm a very humble dude, but they came to me and told me they appreciated my feedback, right? I didn't get put down or attacked on their communities or within their groups or on the article that I posted about PopCon. I posted that article in their group. I didn't get silenced for my words. I didn't get blocked or banned because they didn't agree with my opinion. No. And I respect them for that. See, it's all about respect, right? And my biggest problem is that there's people within this convention. There's people within this convention, like Bill Philpott, who would much rather put his time and energy into coming after me instead of saying, hey, we really should investigate this stuff. We need to step back a minute and make sure that our staff are not treating people that way. Right?
That's right.
I mean, that's what any good business does. I mean, like for instance, if say tomorrow, 20 people came out about Target and their experiences working at Target, right? Do you think Target's going to go on Twitter and say, "Oh, screw those people"? They're not credible. Their statements aren't real. No, they're going to probably put out a statement saying, we as a business don't tolerate sexism and hate speech and bigotry.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
They're going to come out as a business because that is what any good reputable business does, right? And then I had somebody like this is so funny. I had somebody the other day tell me that we should, these are tough times. We shouldn't be trying to go after businesses right now. We need to be united and build these businesses up, these conventions. It's a lot of these cons have it hard enough as it is. And I'm like, no, we're not. No, I'm not going to ignore the bad just because you want to feel good. No, forget that. Like, no, I'm sorry, but that's never going to happen. And, the guy.
No, and you know what? I'm going to touch base. I'm going to touch base on that really quickly, man. This person is talking about we got to build businesses up and all this other stuff. Turn on the news, people. Look at what's going on. Are we not fighting for equality? Are we not fighting to make sure everyone is treated with respect?
That's a very good
That's
point.
what's going on in today's day. And when a company is not doing that, you want to say, "Oh, don't go after them. Let it be." No, man. This is what we're fighting for right now out on the streets, to make sure that we have respect for all. Yeah. Okay? Everyone's going to be treated equally. Everyone's going to go ahead and regardless of color and sex, everyone will be treated with respect. And obviously, this is not what's going on here. And this is why we, as a team, don't support this particular con. We can't stand for that, man. That's not cool. I'm looking at the article, man. There's all kinds of screenshots here with colorful language on it.
Yeah,
that's
is there anything?
Not how you respond, man.
No,
that's just not how you respond to people. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. And like we said earlier, it speaks volumes to the people behind the company. It's upsetting, and it's pissing me off. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about colorful language. I mean, you're right. I mean, I know what you're talking about there in the article, and that was sent to me. I want to make another thing very clear. Those screenshots of that particular individual saying those things, that was not something that I tried to find. All the things that were posted were given to me. Like, I didn't really have to do a lot of hunting down for proof of things. It was really, there was a lot of people that did that for me. And I had one person in particular who they sent me 15 screenshots. I didn't even use a third of what I had in this article. I mean, really, there's some really good stuff out there, and I'm not, and people can say that I tried to defame them or whatever. Look, I didn't defame anybody, right? You can come at me with whatever you want to do, and that's fine. But I've had people try telling me that I defamed them and defamed their character. I didn't defame anyone. You defamed yourself. You posted things online.
That's right.
and it's your own words. I didn't misquote anybody. I didn't misquote your statuses on Facebook. I didn't misquote it. You put it out there. That's why they always tell you need to be very careful with how you handle yourself online, because if you don't want people to see you in a certain light, then don't put yourself out in that light. You know what I mean? Don't give yourself that, and that particular person that has those screenshots and the homophobic slur, if you will, that's their words, man. That's not mine. I didn't misquote them. I didn't try to paint them in a negative light. They painted themselves in that light, not me.
That's right, man.
It's very
that's right.
It's very
that's right. People. It sucks because there's just certain individuals out there that don't know how to be accountable for their own actions, man.
No, they don't.
They look to blame. They want to point fingers, even though that individual said or did something. It's always, it was because of someone else, or someone else did something, so that's why I did this.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, your words are your words and your actions are your actions. Yeah. And if I have a screenshot of your words and you're over here saying I'm defaming you, dude, you said this, did you not?
Yeah.
Where's the slander here? There is none, dude. You said it. It's black and white. It's right here.
Yeah.
So I just go back to the type of characters these people are. It's like, man, if you're being called out on something, own up to it.
Yeah.
Did you do it or not? I did. My bad. Let me fix it. Or that's how I feel. If you don't want to be my friend, screw you then.
Yeah.
All right. At least we know who you are. At this point, we see the language. We see how they're reacting to others. They refuse to accept any kind of accountability for what they're doing. Doesn't look like they're going to change from what I'm reading.
No, they're not.
So it's like, why back these people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why back them up?
Yeah.
I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it. As a business, how can you not treat people with respect and make it better? I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like I said, I have people trying to tell me I'm trying to ruin their image. I'm trying to destroy their con. Look, man, I didn't try anything. They did it. They're the ones doing it. They really need to work on it. They need to work on their PR. They need to get a publicist. They need to get somebody.
Oh yeah.
I listened to another podcast late last night. I listened to a podcast. They're on Spotify, and they talked about it too. Like they didn't go into my article or all that stuff. This was posted like 3 days ago, but they talked about how they need to get someone to update their stuff, like their events and their cancellations, and it literally takes 5 minutes, if that, to even do that kind of stuff. It's they fail on the most basic of things. They fail on it's like if there was a beginner's guide to running a con, they would fail the first 3 chapters. Here's what you do not do. I
chuckled earlier.
I mean, you laugh.
Said they need a PR.
I
get you. I get you.
It's just it's like you trying to do trigonometry, but you can't do 1 + 1. That's how it is. And I have no issues or no qualms with saying that, because they speak for themselves. I mean, honestly, Bill has been very attacking, and I will call him out for that on the show. Listen, man, you can attack me all you want, but you're not making yourself or your business look very good when you do that sort of thing. That is not a mature response. It's a very immature, childish way to respond. And I mean, look, dude, this guy, I've not been in a business. I've never had my own business. I guess you could say I do have my own business. I am myself professionally,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same. I'm not taking money from people. I'm not, I don't run an event. Let's put it that way. So, but he is just, he's tarnishing his own business. And, any good PR person would would probably tell him to shut up. Because he's digging his own grave, man. For his business anyway, not himself, but his business is great. And
I chuckled, man, because when you say that, the first thing that came to mind was Twitter, and you know, there's a lot of celebrities out there.
Mhm.
President has his own Twitter account. And you can tell when the president is speaking and when it's a PR person. You just can tell.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Mhm.
President can't